A local woman's ordeal has captivated the community as we've all witnessed her grace and composure. Stephanie McClooney's husband, a Jacksonville fireman, and his college friend have been lost at sea since mid-August.
While she does not have answers, and she realizes many would probably turn away from their faith in a higher power, she is choosing to embrace hers. News 4 Jax reporter Ashley Spicer sat down with this remarkable young mother at her home. She is sharing how her strength from Jesus is helping her through her hardest moments and her 2 reasons to keep her husband's legacy alive.
When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. Isaiah 43:2. A Bible verse Stephanie McClooney holds on to since her husband, Brian McClooney, took his boat out with Justin Walker off Cape Canaveral August 16th and never came back. With no answers about what went wrong on what was supposed to be a day trip on the water, Stephanie says her source of comfort is God and her and Brian's 2 children.
I honestly don't know that I would be able to process and handle any other way. I don't know how to. I don't know the alternative because it just would be too depressing and too gloomy without it. There's got to be hope and there's got to be faith and trust.
Having to decide how to explain to 6-year-old Connor and 8-year-old Bryn that their father was missing, Stephanie says she chose honesty.
But we chose fairly early to tell the kids, like the day that the Coast Guard, we had that big briefing with the Coast Guard. We chose to come home from that and tell the kids that. That was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, than to sit down and tell your kids that.
Stephanie and Brian have known each other since their sophomore year of high school and started dating their senior year. Brian fell in love with Stephanie quickly.
And when did you know that he was the one?
It took me longer than him. He said he knew at prom.
You weren't quite there.
I wasn't quite there yet. But for me, I mean, through college, I just would see, the man that he was, and he had joined the military, and, I did college and all the dumb college things, coming in and out and in and out, and I finally just said, I don't know what I'm doing. No one else compares to Brian, and this is my ruler and my benchmark for everything, so I can't be without him.
Stephanie admits that she has thought about losing her high school sweetheart before. Brian served 5 years with the Navy, deployed twice, even brought home a Purple Heart after his first deployment. Then in 2013, her husband chose another career that would put his life on the line. He became a firefighter. But Stephanie says being lost at sea was not something she could have prepared for.
There's some days where I feel like he's still on shift and he's going to come home. Like, it's that feeling, and then you kind of go, Saturday morning cartoons, okay, Daddy's not home, coming home, we're going to get up and get our day started.
For you to be doing this on your own now, parenting and living your life with somebody that you have been with since high school, I mean, what is that like? I would think.
There's some days where it doesn't feel real. It just kind of feels through coasting, or like I said, I've been through deployment, so maybe it's a long deployment, but then there's days where it kind of just hits you in the gut and you go, wow, this is maybe my new life, my new reality, and it's hard because I've known him more than I haven't known him.
But now the 37-year-old is living without him and raising their 2 kids while together adapting to a new way of life.
I mean, my message would just really be, don't take it for granted. It seems a cliche thing to say, but really we're never promised tomorrow.
I'm working with Daddy.
It's just really hard to watch, to see him with his dad.
Yes.
It doesn't get easier. Stephanie is such an inspiration. The community has just been so captivated by her, and her faith and attitude are remarkable.
Yeah, we were saying that. I mean, when this first happened, and we kept seeing these wives, and we're like, how do they have the fortitude to come out in front of everyone?
Dressed every day and come outside.
Oh, and we just marveled at it, and now to hear her explain it is just beautiful.
How are the children doing now?
You know, they're coping differently. She said that her son says his prayers and asks, you know, for God to give him a hug and a kiss, and that they, you know, miss him here on earth. Daughter has a little bit different. She has the days of hope. Well, maybe daddy is going to come home next week. And she said it's so sweet, but that's also really hard, you know, because you don't want to give a false hope to your children at all. And she, I think, is doing the best that she can in this situation. And she is, I mean, so strong, but I think she also feels like I have no choice for my children. You have to be strong.
It's going to be a journey, and it sounds like she's taking it every step, just one step at a time, which is it's beautiful.
She's
inspiring.
impressive.
You have more for us tonight at 10?
We have more tonight at 10. You know, Stephanie has some hopes for other boaters to learn from what happened to Brian and their situation. She's hoping that allows for her first responder husband to continue to help save lives. She's got a message for the community tonight, all new on the 10 o'clock news.